Well, hi, welcome. Nice to see so many people. It's been a down period during the Corona time, but now it's starting to look like old times. Welcome to Azure Skåne. We're gonna talk about modern cybersecurity strategies. Robert will enlighten us. It will be really interesting. This is the quick agenda. So, meet and greet. I think we kind of did that. Welcome and intro, that's me. I will be quick, I promise. Then we're gonna listen to Robert, and then we're gonna eat and talk about all the easy stuff security brings. So, Azure Skåne. It's a user group. It's all about learning, networking, having fun. You don't have to do cloud, but you know, if you do, it's probably funnier. I don't know. We're over 1,000 members now, and spread the word. Everyone can join. We do regular meetups, almost once a month, on different topics. If you have any suggestions, requests, ideas, shoot them to us, and you can shoot them to these people. It's me. My name is Michael. I'm a former MVP, currently working for Microsoft. Therefore, I lost my MVP title. We have Johan, he's an MVP. Magnus Mortensson, he's actually a regional director. So it's us three in Skåne crew. Please approach us if you have any ideas. So we do online streams, and therefore we have to explain what Azure Skåne is, because Skåne is not globally known, but people online will probably join. So Skåne is the small part down here. That's the flag. It's not a country, it's just a power flag. We are famous for a couple of things. Turning torso, a cool bridge, best soccer player in the world, according to himself. Absolute Vodka is produced, actually researched or developed down here and produced globally now. The gaming industry is booming in Malmö, so if you want to build games, move here. Everyone attending our meetups, please use this hashtag. It's always nice to be seen in the social medias, so it would be really appreciated. We usually are at Foo Café, almost always. And we want to say thank you, Michael. Yeah. And now to some cool stuff. I made a small intro to the people that was here early. So Discord, it's Azure Skåne Discord is a community forum where we can extend the dialogue we will have today. So feel free to join that one. And just to showcase, hopefully this works. For example, the security channel is really active, and we have a lot of stuff going on here about, yeah, all cool stuff. So please join and share the knowledge. All of this will also be pasted in the meetup. If you're a member of the meetup, the info will be there also. I want to mention the next event we have is the 7th of May. It's something called Global Azure, and if you haven't heard of it before, it's when globally people join and do cool things in cloud, and it's probably around 100,000 people joining globally. We will host one event. We will have 2 to 3 speakers, maybe hands-on lab. 2 of the speakers are already already check mark confirmed. Thank you. So please sign up on the meetup, join us on May the 7th. A quick promotion for our user group members. If you like to go to conferences, now when it's allowed again. So this is an opportunity for you to get 10% discount on a high fashion-ish conference called Go2. It's going to be in Denmark. And now I'm finished, so let's get started. Robert, please.
Nope. Now it's the mic on. Okay. Um, for you guys that missed the first part, you didn't miss anything, but I'm not going to talk about the technical strategies, but the modern approach to it. By the way, hi Nadine. I'm going to talk about the human perspective of this, the human-centric approach or the holistic approach, where I'm going to talk about for a couple of minutes, not hours, about why there's a benefit to think about the human perspective first and how we're going to do that. So it's going to be somewhat of a checklist because I know how you guys think. You want something, well, first I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, but try to challenge your way of looking into what you do in your daily life when it comes to security. Try to envision and challenge your own point of view right now for the next coming minutes of why the human perspective is more important than a new firewall, than a new antivirus, or whatever. When we leave today, I want you to have with you some sense of what I mean is the value of something. And the three values that I'm going to send off for you today is the value of thinking cybersecurity when thinking cybersecurity and thinking risk management. I want you to have the value of the human first perspective. Why am I doing this? For whom? Who is going to use it? What is the intent of it? And I want you to send off the value of the modern cybersecurity approach to this. And I'm going to start off with a simple thing of defining what cybersecurity is. When I started this way back yonder when the dinosaurs were roaming the place, yes, I am that old, we're talking about an era when you actually fed on Coca-Cola and Mentos and you could run and code for hours. We're talking about those days. You could go into a room and say, what is security? And they would be looking at you in very abstract ways, say, what is he talking about? Security is, and if there were 50 people in the room, you would get 50 definitions. If I were to throw out the same thing here in this room saying, why it is cybersecurity? Because what is the importance of defining it? Because many people have a point of view what cybersecurity is. People say it's a technical aspect. It's this and it's that. And I'm saying that cybersecurity is nothing short of anything that we do, process, technology, whatever, to protect a human being to be a target for cybercrime. Anything that afflicts us, an incident, something that goes wrong, has a legal consequence. When we say cybercrime, we think fraud, we think hacking, but there is more to it than this. Now we're starting to understand that cybersecurity has an abstract layer to it. It is not ones and zeros, it's not bits and bytes. However, as it is Azure, I'm a person that actually has a hardpoint core view of cloud service providers versus on-prem when talking cybersecurity. Let me be very clear to this. When we're talking about cybersecurity in a modern context, I am for one that's saying that a cloud service provider has the potential, the knowledge, and the personnel to combat my definition of cybersecurity better than an on-prem solution. Why? Simple, money. An on-prem solution can have the same amount of money as a cloud service provider to hire personal experts, analytics, whatever, to actually combat the complexity of cyber threats out there today. But what my point of view say, what we have forgot is to actually look at the awareness of people. For whom are we building this? Are we building infrastructure or system architecture for it to be compliant? Let's rewind the clock just for a little bit. When I came into this 10 years ago, because my background is in the armed forces, I dealt with technology back then, but now I'm dealing it from a business perspective since like 10 or 12 years. People talked about, and I remember these calls over a Coca-Cola or a cup of coffee and saying, God, yeah, we're leaving the compliant era. We're merging into the risk management era. We're still in the compliant era. We're talking about GDPR and how you should be ticking off this box and this box. And afraid of it all, we are talking about a modern approach where we're talking frameworks. If you have a framework, you have a systematic approach to cyber threats and risks. Hands down, how many of you know of a framework, ISO 727K? Hands? Show of hands? COVID? NIST? Can you explain to me, and you online and streaming can say, where are the metrics and the control points for actually raising awareness instead of having security? How do you do security? How do you communicate out to the people affected by the framework so they can actually understand why am I going to do this? What is the benefit for me in the reception or the sales or the HR to actually comply to all what the IT guy standing there really angry because I forgot my password, or I still have summer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or QWERTY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I went to vacation, and now the IT guy in the first line support is pissed because I forgot it on my vacation or Christmas or whatever. We all know these methods, those phenomenons, but we forget that why are we building system? Why are we having awareness where we actually lack a sound, a realistic strategy of raising awareness so people understand why they have to do certain things in a digital ecosystem? It's more than technology. It's way beyond a firewall. It's way beyond anything that you can present to me in tech-wise. And actually, Microsoft is for one cloud service provider that I actually recently seen merging into human-first perspective. They're talking about a zero-day management. They're talking about their endpoint protection, of actually understanding that there is more to it than a tech guy understanding how the antivirus works. By the way, The tech guy knows the way around the antivirus because that's the tech-savvy person knowing the ways around and the back doors. But the antivirus is not for those people. The antivirus is getting more and more hyped up on steroids because people tend to forget that there are still people out there clicking on bad links. They are clicking on these goddamn cats on the internet. Sorry for the expression. They simply don't understand. Even you can have a documentary on Netflix. They don't care. They still want to click on the cat. I'm going to come to why that is. And this is also a bridge over to why cyberpsychology is a fundament if you actually is working on cybersecurity seriously. I'm talking about 3 silos. In any business, we have IT security and you have information security, and then came the GDPR to somewhat overbridge everything, to make everything compliant. I'm saying that there's a 3rd silo over here. We never tend to talk about it. We have IT security, we have information security, and we have digital safety. And this is the 3rd silo tend to forget, and this is the root cause of any incident, because my beliefs, and you're going to have a very hard time convincing me otherwise, any issue, any incident is 100% human. It is not 60 or 70% GDPR incident or privacy incident caused by humans. No, 100% incidents are caused by humans because we have built the system for humans, by humans. There are these tech-savvy guys who says, I know how to set this up. It's the same guys who go to IKEA and try to build a bookcase without the manual. This is psychology 101. We tend to know that don't tell me what to do, I know what to do. Yeah, but how could you? We released this software yesterday. The 3 silos need the digital safety aspect so that we tend to know that the IT security guy or the information security guy isn't the sole fighters out there towards the ongoing cyber war. And I'm not talking what tragically happened in Europe, because we all know that the cyber war was way before Ukraine. Cyber war has been going on as long as we had viruses, as malware and ransomware. But why did it keep happening? Is it because the IT security guy didn't do his work or her work? Is it because the information security guy didn't do their work? Or is it that we don't understand that it combines with a digital safety silo where awareness resides and where cyber psychology is a fundament of understanding why this keeps happening? So let's talk cyber psychology. Basically, I want you to imagine that you're sitting in an aula or a room, whatever, a lecture, much like this. And even if I'm ranting about and you find me somewhat interesting, hopefully, in front of you stands this old person saying, I have a video about security. It's 1 minute long, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It is the most crucial video of security that you will ever watch. And in this hand, I have a 15-minute long video about 3 dancing pigs. This is why psychology is so important when dealing with awareness and security, when humans are the thing, because you all thought, screw the security video, I want to see the dancing pigs. And this is the challenge. This is the true challenge for any security guy or person that actually wants to learn about why does the security risks and threats keep happening. You need to understand how the human actually works. Let's talk about risk behavior. How many of you work on a workplace where you have an alcohol policy? What happens if your colleague goes AWOL and goes alcoholic? Yes, there is HR. They're coming like an army and helping you guys, hopefully. Narcotics. How about digital behavior when you are addicted to digital behavior? Mobile devices, phones. Because we know by now that 9 out of 10 Swedes work from their phone, have their phone in their back pocket, can't live without their phone. Again, let's do a time travel. When I was 15, that is yesterday, that's how young I am. My Facebook was the pile of bikes on a upscale to a freeway into a house. That's where my friends were. That was the Facebook group. And as a 15-year-old, I could go to Spain. I knew the 10 addresses of my 10 friends by memory. I knew them because I didn't have a mobile phone that did it for me. That behavior is, we're not going dumber. No. We just don't need it anymore. We have some device doing it for us. But that means that an ongoing test shows that this thing that does everything for us today, we're looking at it, an average Swede looks at it 300 times a day. It is also scientifically proven that mobile devices causes depressions, stressed, you're working off and on hours. You can design any infrastructure saying you're setting the limits for time. People still will procrastinate, job on their time, on the free time, on their vacation. One foot in the pool and one in the sand and still doing the emails. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that's the challenge for any security that deals with a modern security, because you need to teach them. You need to make them aware of this behavior. But HR doesn't know how they do it. And here's the kicker. IT guys doesn't know it either. How many of the IT guys have behavioral points on a university? How many of the HR is actually studying free courses of internet integration, digitization, whatever? That's why you're going to need the digital safety silo to interact. That's why every work you do dealing with security needs an HR or a legal person here. Because that's the next layer. That's the GDPR and privacy. And we talked about this earlier. You're having the Azure, and you have the AVS, and you have a meltdown in Chernobyl-wise when talking GDPR today. We're talking Schrems, we're talking the Azure debate that has gone AWOL in my book. But the GDPR is not there to prohibit us from the digitization. It is there in the first line of the GDPR to actually make the subject be able to share information in the digital ecosystem in a safe manner, to put the responsibility where it should reside, the ones running the internet, the one running the sites. Again, nobody talks about awareness. The human perspective of things, the cyberpsychology as a term is not new. It came way back with ARPANET. It is a very, very small field within psychology that have yet to have its full bloom in talking about IT security guys or technicians or whatever. And we need to change that. Why? Simple, because cyberpsychology studies the individual's behavior, attitude, and values with dealing with their own information online. How they give it away, how they communicate it. Why is that important? What is the new gold? GDPR actually, consequentially, said that any monetary system with values, money, dollars, whatever, is not important. Personal information is the new gold. That's why they're hacking the CRM system. That's why they're hacking into your work, not to gain access for anything but the personal information. And what are they doing? They are encrypting it in ransomware so they can make you pay in Bitcoin so you can't trace it. It's the perfect business scheme. And it is a business scheme because there are companies out there, crime as a service, CAS. You can actually rate it on Yelp, and I'm not kidding. You can actually rate the one putting ransomware on your computer. Yeah, there was a nice guy. I got my thing back after I paid. Why am I doing this? because I believe that's the wrong way to go if we want to digitize the world and actually be an open democracy, digitized world where we can share information and actually help us improve or making us better through technology. Some people have just found very lucrative ways of doing that because they are studying human behavior. Where's the fact in that? Social engineering. And this would actually kind of kick me off, because when we're talking social engineering, if I have technicians in the room, they say, oh yeah, it's security engineering tools. No tools. And I have one name, Mitnick. He hacked the DMV through a phone. Where's the software in that? He knew what you need to understand the human behavior. We want to help. We are not naive. Well, somewhat, but we are not that naive that when a people in distress or in need, we want to help. That is actually what IT does. We help. We make things possible. We are actually the bearers of our business. We make magic happen. But you need to teach the audience to actually be a good audience. Otherwise, they won't go to your show. And what are your magic tricks now? We are all focused in today's work on social media to find unique viewers. And many businesses say that, well, any cybersecurity strategy for us is problematic because we are unique. No, you don't. The only unique about your business is that you don't understand that the uniqueness is in the employee. Yeah, but we do have an HR strategy. No, you don't. I can bet you $1 million that you don't. How many of you work for a business that has a viable HR strategy, how to actually maintain awareness, not as an event, 60 minutes, but a process over the years and the generation? Today you have a 40-year-olds working for you. Those 40-year-olds in 10 years are going to be 50. Actually, those guys are 20, 25. In 10 years, they are 30, 35, and maybe your bosses. How many of you have Facebook? Hands up. You don't have to raise your hand. I know you don't have. Okay? Do you know that today the Internet Stiftelsen actually came out with a report, Swedish and the Internet, that was for the election, the upcoming election, but they released a report previous, the Swedish and the Internet period, stating the very obvious that we don't use social media the same way over the generations. The 50, 60 years old, are they specifically suspicious to everything? No, they don't know technology. That's why they don't use it. So that means that they can't use your infrastructure the way it was meant to be. For the 25-year-olds, do you use Facebook the way that I use Facebook? And I can answer it for you. No, they don't. They use Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp. That's why Facebook is branching out and buying any competitor. Yes, they want the market, but they understand that people are growing old. And we are changing our behavior, and we tend to stick to what we know best. So my generation is a Facebook generation. My old man, my dad, still thinks that I work in support because he doesn't understand what cybersecurity. He doesn't care. He still clicks on those goddamn cats. I can tell him straight off, no, you won't be cooler if you click on that advert saying this is your Star Wars name. If you have 3 letters from your first name and 3 from the surname and add a in the middle, and there you go, you're a Wookiee. He doesn't understand that that is a social engineering attack that actually mapping you for the security questions in some certain security features. This is what has been forgotten for those building the digital systems today. They don't understand for whom am I building this? How are they going to use it? And how are they going to do security if I have no plan whatsoever how to raise awareness about this? Not once, but constantly over the year, and the year after that, and as a process over and over again. Is it your job to do it? No. digital safety. It's the HR. You need to intertwine with them. You need to liaison with them on any project. If you do have a security project that has any security feature and it doesn't have an information security, a law officer, a legal officer, and an HR, someone with a behavioral or psychology perspective, I can guarantee you sooner or later that project will go down security-wise. And you will have the tedious work, the mountain of work to understand where did we go wrong. You are humans, but we tend to forget that. The one you works with are humans. And these are the most crucial thing, that if you don't understand humans, you can do whatever you want with the infrastructure, because they will choose the dancing pigs any day of the week. And I'm not saying that you should make the 3 dancing pigs go away. That is the payoff, because humans needs to be entertained. Can you entertain? No, then let the professional do it with you, not without you. Understand that raising awareness and understanding cyberpsychology's place, its rightful place in cybersecurity, is not an event. It is a process over the years when we have to go back, and it's not, okay, now we're going to do a video. Why are we not going to do a video? How many of you have been to YouTube to learn how to barbecue or to build a porch? It is a very nice video. It can be, it's done through the A and B, how to do a video. And you're still trying to fast forward to the good part. Don't use videos. And if you have awareness bits and saying, okay, I understand, I have to do it microwave, it's sort of a nano kind of way of learning, raising awareness bit by bit, lesson by lesson, little by little. Keep the focus. Because after 3 minutes, if you're not devoted like you and sitting here and say, I want to listen to this guy and say what he has to say about this, but the one in the reception, in the HR, in sales, they have 3 minutes tops, and they are zoomed out. Don't try to push everything that you want to convey out there. You need to prioritize what is the most important thing for them to understand. Now we're getting down, okay, we have bad password, we have bad ransomware, okay, we have problems with this. We're going to prioritize those things. Yes, we need to do the compliance bit towards the GDPR. Okay, let's do a short session about the GDPR for everyone. Don't forget managers. I'm not saying if there is any manager out there that you're dumb, but you need to be drafted in security manners very quickly. You have, like those bits, 3 minutes tops. And if you pull an Excel sheet, that is death by information. They will stop listening as soon as they see the Excel sheet. If you have a bullet slide, 3, 4, 5 slides, if you don't have pie charts, if you don't have comparisons for this year to this year, they will zoom out. Why? Are they uninterested? No, because you talk about risk management. From their perspective, they're talking business-driven risk. They are talking about return of investment. Why am I investing in this tool and in this tool? I want to know that this is 4 times the value. What they did listen to under the GDPR and said 4% turnover. Now they started listening. That's the language, and that was our main fault as an IT security expert or information security expert. When the GDPR opened the door, we started talking about ones and zeros and bits and bytes via Excel sheets. We killed our golden opportunity. But rest assured, a football reference, that was the first half. Now it's the second half, and we're going to win this. We're going to turn this over by talking human perspective first. Because if you don't build the system for the human, if you don't have processes and strategies for educating the human, you will go south, and there will be consequences, and people will lose their jobs, including yours. So how do we do risk management the right way? How do we do awareness? How do we make the human seeing that they can't use the digital, so the digital devices at any hours, whatever you want to do to actually keep the depressions low or the usage low, whatever. Your Business is unique in that way. You have to do your bit. And this is the thing. We need tools. We need tools to actually help us understand the humans. We need tools that actually makes us understand how the human ticks. What I often talk about is a psychological gap analysis. Anybody here knows what a gap analysis is? Or heard the term before? Is it basically an analysis that actually points out where we have gaps in our knowledge of actually doing our job more efficient or 100% efficient. We need to do psychological gap analysis on our staff now. Which staff are we going to have tomorrow, in 5 years or 10 years? Which gaps do they have? Do we have a lot of 50, 60 years old that doesn't understand what an iPad is? How many of the 20, 25-year-olds comes into this and doesn't use Viva or Teams, that is more likely to go on Discord or Instagram? What that means for me in my infrastructure, my system that I'm building. I need to understand this, and to do so, you need a gap analysis based on psychological and behavioral psychology. And this is where I lose many people that deals with technology. Oh, that's not my table. Yes, it is. Because you are human. What you're doing is for human. And your job, believe me or not, going to be very easy if you start understanding the behavioral psychology behind every process. And that's where we talk about when we were kids. Do you have these books where you actually drew things and connected dots? Do you remember those books? Often in the back seat of my dad's car, no seat belts, screw security back then. You can actually sleep on the hat layer. Nobody cared. How did I survive? I don't know. I don't have ticks. But anywho, how do we solve the maze problem? Well, when we were young and we were first sitting there, we drew the line from A to B, and oh, darn it, that was a back end. Oh, no, that was a turnover. Very quickly, we found out, hey, let's start from the goal, and we drew the line backwards. This is the same thing you're going to do at work tomorrow. Where am I going to wind up? What is the end game of this? How do I know that I've succeeded with this project? Where am I then? And draw the line back and identify the KPIs, the measure points. And those are there not to prove that you have done a bad job. Those are there to actually keep you on tracks. How do I know that I have reached the end game? Am I close to the finish line? Then you reach the KPIs. And those KPIs must have a human perspective of things. Now it's the time where you're going to see software and hardware development that actually is for humans, by humans. That is going to minimize the support's first line issues. And now it's the time to convert that into management language and saying, hey, return on investment. And they're going to say, yay! Those analysis and tools are actually needed. So if you don't have that on your resume right now, run to any university and take an online course in behavior, psychology, understand what makes the human ticks. And I'm going to introduce you to a book which I love, Dr. Mary Aiken, The Cyber Effect. Fantastic if you actually want to see someone that actually have worked very close to law enforcement and forensics with a human perspective first. But there are very good persons online. Actually, look up Nadine. I forgot her last name, but there's my contact information on the last page, and I'm going to divert you to Nadine, based in Sweden, studying about how to produce those tools. Fantastic person. She's doing a very fantastic work on the cybersecurity with the cyber psychology first. And you can't miss out that. That is the articles you want to read, and her associates. Because that's what it boiled down to. Everyone here working with security really has a wet dream, and they want to stop working reactively. You come to work, and you have your list and agenda to do, and it doesn't take many minutes to somebody open your door and saying, hey, am I interrupting? Something happened. and now you have a backlog. Yes, that won't miraculously go away, but it will be very much easy to work through if you do it properly. I'm going to end up with this. Dancing Pig Drives Car 2002. Just to prove a point that we humans are humans. And I put a hashtag in front of it to make it modern. Remember it? This is how hard this is if it was a password. And you will remember this sentence when you go away. And trust me, your receptionist will remember it. How do you communicate this? By an event or a process? They need to understand what the takeaway for them is by doing this way. They need to trust their memories. How many here can go to supermarket and shop for your wife or your spouse and remember more than 4 things if you drop your mobile phone and the sheet list at home and on the refrigerator? You will come home with 10 items whereof none would standing on that list. How do you expect that the person in your business is going to remember anything if you do it like an event? They won't. Little by little, and soon you will have these passwords, and you will see the down rate on ransomware, malware, and any other shit that goes into your inbox. Sorry for the expression again. Here is my QR code, and there's a link. Yes, I know the irony of an information security specialist sharing a link, but I don't care. This goes to my LinkedIn page. Any question that we won't post here, if you want to interact or connect, here's where you can do that. And I'm going to give you, if you want, the Nadine's contact information, because she would love to actually hear from you, because you are sitting here with the most valuable things to this draft. You know your business and you know your humans. And to develop efficient tools to actually make those analyses correct so we can do our work more efficient resides in you. They resides in me. And they resides in the 3-year-old opening my dad's iPad. Because that's what 3-year-olds do today. I was eating maggots and playing in a sand field, but today's 3-year-olds actually know how to Google. Cyberpsychology from a modern perspective. Thank you. Sure. Yep. Yep. Yep.
They are willing to accept and use and record all of that. How have you approached that issue?
If I understand you correctly, yes, there is an external and internal challenge here. The internal thing is, how do I approach the unaware insider? Did I understand that sentence of that question correctly?
Yeah.
Yes, from my standpoint, awareness. But we need to understand one thing. I'm not advocating awareness, period, and no technology. You're going to need technology. But if you have a problem with ransomware, you need to do what the psychology says: act, acknowledge, commit. The T is therapy in the psychological world, but I will say thoughtful leadership, visionaries. You need to understand that, okay, we have a problem with ransomware. There are people insider that actually doesn't understand what a bad link is, what actually clicking on things are wrong. Okay, that analysis, you haven't go any further because we have identified the problem. And yes, we do need awareness, but we're going to need somebody who is going to wash everything, that actually understand it from a technology perspective. And that's what I led on to. You have the on-prem perspective and you have the cloud service perspective. Here you have 1,500 speed steroid experts. And in the on-prem solution, very much, it is an unpatched, unbacked up infrastructure with 3 guys or women, whatever, that is basically hired because You can open an email. You get IT, Robert. Oh, yes, thank you. More money in my box. They don't understand it. How would I approach it? I would start by acknowledging that this is not my field of expertise and who is the expert. And I would commit to that even if it is timely, costly, because the end game, the goal about this is actually saving money. How strange and curious that sounds. Because then you're going to need the thoughtful leaders that said, we're going to do this now, and this is why we're going to do it. If the IT technician or the security guy doesn't have the entertainment factor, let somebody else do that. Did that somewhat answer that abstract question? I would approach it by starting to be very modest and saying, this is not my field of expertise, but I know and I acknowledge that we need to actually solve it.
Yep, thanks.
Someone? Nope. Nope.
I don't think so. Thank you. Where would your focus be on the future of cybersecurity? And you said, where's the money? Where's the investment? And currently cloud is top of mind for everyone, and big companies are putting their money in the cloud. So is that then by definition the most weak link in the security at the moment?
Yeah, but it's the only link because this is a vision, and take it for what it is. For good or worse, we are pushed into this digital era where we are actually walking apps. That's what we are. And we need to heighten or understand our security as app in different ecosystems. We have work ecosystems, social media, whatever. We have to acknowledge that we are that. But the future, I think that we're going to be even more apps. That's why we need the cyberpsychology perspective. So that, and I know that the cloud service provider out there understands this, because if I have to rant on about this, 5 years ago, a colleague of mine who's sadly not alive said that cybersecurity is about three things and will always be about three things: communication, mobility, and the endpoints. And people love being mobile. They love moving about, and the service providers out there understands this. So that's why they're focusing on protecting the person on the go. And we will always communicate. That's why social media is a big thing.
Thank you. So, before we leave, during your presentation, Robert, I actually received the badge, the NFT. So everyone, get ready to grab some more QR codes in this security event. This one is actually real. I don't know if yours maybe was just a test, you know. I had an hour-long presentation about security. Hey, click this link. And everyone clicked it. Eventually this will work. So, if you want pizza, you have to grab this one. Okay, thank you.